Mahomes has had 8 picks through 6 weeks this season so far. Let's take a look at some of these picks just for those who haven't watched these games and believe Mahomes is just having a bad year, because I don't think that's the case at all. Here's the first one, right off of Marcus Kemp's hands and picked off by Asante Samuel. I'm not going to lie, it was a great diving catch, but if not for Kemp dropping that, the Chiefs likely score and likely win this game. Here's Mahomes' first pick from the Buffalo game last week. So clearly this one is intended for Tyreek Hill, but he just botches the catch and it bounces right off of his hands, right to Micah Hyde for the pick 6. And then he does the same shit today against the football team, where we're in the red zone. He just drops it and it lands in the hands of the Washington defender. Erase those 3 picks from this year. He's still left with 5 picks that are on him. But still, I said this in one of my previous recaps, I think Mahomes knows he has a shit defense. I think he's making riskier throws, willing to make riskier throws, because regardless, if it's an interception or a punt, it doesn't matter because the defense is so bad that regardless, they're probably going to score a touchdown. So with this, I just want to tell you, I don't think Mahomes is regressing in the slightest. I think he's still Mahomes. I just think he's making riskier plays because he knows he has a shit defense, and I think there are a couple plays here and there where he tries to be a hero rather than just take what's given to him. But that's not something that can't be fixed. And that's what practice is for. That's where you make the adjustments, and that's where you learn to be more disciplined with the ball. I rest my case. Yeah, so the Chiefs defeat the Washington football team today by a final score of 31-13. And it wasn't always that much of a blowout because at halftime the Chiefs were trailing 13-10. So yeah, it was really the fourth quarter when the Chiefs came alive and they finally started looking like the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, on paper the defense played good today. But remember, this is the Washington football team we're talking about here. That's not very impressive. You know, defense gave up 13 points. So what? It's Washington. And it doesn't impress me in the slightest. I'm not all of a sudden going to think, oh, well, the defense looks like they're figuring it out. Hell no. Fuck that. The defense is still shit. The defense is still really bad. They were giving up a lot of yards despite only giving up 13 points. They were still like giving up some really long runs, and it was just so frustrating. One of my key takeaways from the game on the offensive side of the ball is Darrell Williams looked pretty damn good. Better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire in my opinion. I'm not huge on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He wasn't very impressive last year. He hasn't been very impressive this year either, and he's injured right now. So Darrell Williams comes in replacement for the time being, and so far he looks better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire in my opinion. The way I'm watching it, it just seems like he has a better ability to find the holes in the run game. He had a touchdown today, a rushing touchdown, and he had a couple other plays where he was finding holes, and I thought to myself, you know, if that was Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the football right there, he probably wouldn't have found that. He probably would have been tackled for a loss. So yeah, I'm not a huge Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan. Darrell Williams, he played pretty damn good for what I saw. Mecole Hardman is still Mecole Hardman. Absolute trash. He had a fumble today, which is not surprising in the slightest because it's Mecole Hardman. He always fumbles. He always gives you a heart attack as a fan when the ball goes anywhere near a 5-mile radius of his hands. So yeah, he had a fumble today, and I just stared at the screen like, yeah, well, yeah, it's Mecole Hardman. It's Mecole Hardman. I mean, what do you expect? Do you expect him to just hold on to the ball? No, because he doesn't do that. He just doesn't do that. Not only did he fumble today, he also made a really stupid play, which I've seen him make before in years past, that I sit there and I question how you didn't learn that was a no-no from the age of goddamn 12. So what he did was he signaled fair catch in the 5-yard line. At that point, I don't see a very big difference between the 5-yard line and the 1-yard line. Just let it go. If it goes into the end zone, which is more likely than it landing at the 1-yard line, then you get it at the 25-yard line. But no, just signal fair catch at the 5. You know, if I was the coach, honestly, of any football team, I'd tell my players, listen, if it's within the 10-yard line, just let it go. And I think that's what most coaches tell their players as well. So why on earth is Mecole Hardman signaling fair catch at the 5-yard line? I mean, is this not taught by the coaches in practice? Seriously. Because it's not the first time he's done it either. I just don't get it. Mahomes had 2 interceptions. Well, really 1 interception. And that 1 interception he did have that was on him, it was terrible. It was one of the worst plays I've ever seen Mahomes make. As I said in the beginning of this video, I think he's trying to be a hero with the ball way more than he needs to be. He's not playing the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. He's not playing the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship. He's not playing the Ravens on primetime Sunday Night Football. He's playing the Washington football team, led by Taylor Heineke. Is that how you say his name? Heineke? I don't really know. All I know is it sounds like the beer company. He doesn't need to be a hero in games like these. He just needs to either take a sack there. I mean, it was bad. Like, he fumbled the snap, and then we were in the red zone already. And so it was already almost halftime. We were in the red zone. He fumbles the snap, and instead of just taking the sack or trying to throw it out, he just lobs one. And I mean, it's an absolute rainbow. It goes and probably hits the Goodyear blimp up in the sky. I mean, that's how terrible of a pass it was. And when it went up, I was like, yeah, okay, well, there's two Washington players right there. That's caught. Yep. And then sure enough, when the ball finally came back in the view of the camera, yeah, it landed in the arms of a Washington defenseman. So yeah, I mean, that was a terrible, terrible play by Mahomes. He's done that a couple times this year. And by couple, I mean like literally about two. Not very many, but still more than you want to see. So yeah, I mean, I don't have very many takeaways from this game other than McCole Hardman, Darrell Williams, the defense having their best game of the year against the worst team we've played this year so far. Yeah, still not impressed with this Chiefs team. I think the offense is getting better as they go along, but still I think they have a long way to go before they just blow out teams. I mean, this is the football team. We should have put up 48 against the football team. That's the way I see it, but we put up 31, which is respectable. It's respectable, but it's not enough, in my opinion. For the offense we have, it's not enough. Turnovers won't help. We've had a shit ton of turnovers every single week this year, it feels like. The offense just continues to turn over the ball, whether it's the ball carrier like Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the final game-winning drive of the Ravens game where the Chiefs likely would have won if, they just let Mahomes throw the ball rather than hand it off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who would fumble, and that would be the end of the game. Yeah, there's been way too many turnovers on the offense this year, and they still have a long way to go. It's the same shit this week. Tyreek Hill keeps dropping passes that bounce off his hands and turn into interceptions. I don't like that either. I don't think any Chiefs fan really enjoys watching that. It's just Tyreek Hill needs to catch those balls. I think everybody can agree with that. I hope he fixes his butterfingers in practice all week. I hope McCole Hardman starts practicing signaling fair catch at least at the 15-yard line, not the 5. That'd be ideal. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes still had 397 yards today. That's not something very many quarterbacks do very often. Put up nearly 400 yards in a game. That's really good. That's really good stats from Mahomes there. And yeah, this is the only time in NFL history that the Chiefs are going to be playing a team named the football team, because we don't play the Redskins football team, whatever you want to call them, Washington. We don't play them again until 2025. 4 years from now, that'll be in Kansas City. I've mastered how the NFL schedule works in my brain. I just know how that works now, which is probably something that is irrelevant to store in my brain's limited capacity of knowledge, but I do it anyway for the love of the game. I'm going off topic. Yeah, when we play this team next, they're probably going to have a new nickname. They're going to have a new nickname next year, so unless they decide to keep it Washington football team forever, yeah, this is the last time the Chiefs will ever play the football team, so for the sake of YouTube, for the sake of the title, and for the sake of the living meme, I have to put Chiefs versus football team in the title, and I have to put the football team logo in the thumbnail. As much as I would love to aggravate cancel culture and just put Redskins shit everywhere, no, it's too much of a funny meme to pass the opportunity. Once in a lifetime, quite literally. Some may be wondering why there wasn't a Bills recap last week, and that's for a few reasons. First off, I'll explain. Most of the game I wasn't watching because that was the same night as the Rays Game 3 in the ALDS. All of my energy had already been wasted pretty much on all the bullshit that took place in that game. I'm still not over it, if you're asking. I'm really pissed off at the Rays. I'm pissed off at Major League Baseball as a whole, and it all started with that game on that night when the Chiefs played the Bills on Sunday night last week. Second reason is I did a live stream called Yeah, I'm Pissed, and that's still public on this channel if you want to watch it. 95% of it was talking about the Rays game, but that other 5% I was talking a little bit about the Chiefs-Bills game, and so I can considered that my recap because I wasn't going to waste more energy than I had already given that night on filming a Chiefs-Bills recap in a game where we get blown out, and on top of that, I didn't even watch half the game. That game sucked ass, though, the Bills game. And I said the week prior on my recap for the Eagles game that I expected to lose by at least 2 touchdowns to the Bills, and that's exactly what happened. We lost by 17, I think, which, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. The Chiefs had a couple turnovers that game, which would have minimized the damage, but I still don't think, if the Chiefs have a clean game, 0 turnovers, I think we still lose. I mean, the Bills are clearly the better team this year. As of week 6, 2021, the Bills are my Super Bowl pick. I think they have everything they need to go all the way this year. So I'm not surprised we lost last week. I predicted losing by at least 2 touchdowns, which did come true. And overall, it was just a shitty game, and I had no interest in recapping it. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you next week against the Tennessee Titans, a team which we historically lose to, or at least in the regular season. So I'm not really looking forward to that game either, because I think the defense will return to its shitty self because Ryan Tannehill is a lot better of a quarterback than Taylor Heinicke. And the Titans just have more offensive weapons, like Derrick Henry is gonna... Oh my god, I cannot wait to start Derrick Henry in fantasy next week, because he's gonna fucking have himself a game against this Chiefs defense. So yeah, I expect that game to be a lot closer than this game was. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. This is your favorite YouTuber on all of YouTube and your favorite Kansas City Chiefs fan that you know. Chiefs raise bolts. Catch you then. Peace out.